Hello, everyone. Welcome back to CleoCast. My name is Matt.
And I'm RC.
Actually, I think this is a talk. We need to work on.
It's like the podcast,
It's
CleoCast.
yeah. And recently, we were told that the branding is off, and now it's stuck in my head.
Oh, nobody told us that. You told yourself that.
I
the
did.
branding is perfect. It's immaculate.
But anyway, how have you been?
I've been all right.
Yeah,
I'm doing okay.
we had a pretty good time. We went to the Ozarks to do a float trip.
We did do that. I did not get sunburned for the first time in my life.
Yeah. That's why we didn't upload an episode last week, because we spent more time actually buying 7 billion hot dogs instead of actually, recording an episode for our podcast. But
I thought going into it, you can never have too many hot dogs. You can have too many hot dogs, ladies and gentlemen. That is a possibility.
There's so many hot dogs, dude.
When you can get a 36 pack from Sam's Club for $5, you can get too many hot dogs.
Why do we think that everyone in our group was going to eat like 15 hot dogs?
Because you want people to be full. You don't want them to go hungry. You don't want them to starve. So you got to make sure everybody can have like 5 or 6.
Anyway,
and then everybody eats one.
Yeah. Or you eat 0 and you spend most of your time drunkenly throwing up in the woods.
I don't know anything about that.
Neither do I. But anyway, yeah, it was fun. I mean, I wish I could have done other forms of transit to get down there. But that's a complaint for future podcasts where we don't talk about infrastructure the entire time. It was fun floating, though. Do recommend it. Go down to the Ozarks and float, support local Missouri economies, and get demolished on a river. Yes,
it's a good time.
Did you see the Mission Gateway stuff, though?
I am not sure.
So, this is going to get extremely local, but Mission Gateway, that weird construction site that's been in development for over close to a decade on Shawnee Mission Parkway in Mission, Johnson Drive.
Yes.
That's not a confident yes.
I am still not sure if I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, the developer is no longer developing it. I'm not sure if they went bankrupt or whatever, and now they're no longer pursuing the development there. So no more Mission Gateway for people in the Kansas City area. It is over.
It's over?
Yeah, it is over. Okay. They're not building anything there anymore.
Is that over by the IKEA?
Kind of.
Wait a second. I think I know what this is.
If you're driving on Shawnee Mission Parkway, you will see it.
I still do not know what this is. Okay, cool. I am bringing a lot to this podcast right now.
Yeah.
I do not know what you're talking about. Anyways, that's dead.
Yeah.
Never even knew it. It feels like it's been so long.
Never even knew it. What other agendas do I need to talk about?
You say this is going to get really local, as if every single episode we've done since the Space Shuttle Part 4 hasn't been horrifically local.
But there's some sports stuff. People can listen to that. And we talked about the Sphere.
We did talk about the Sphere, and we did talk about the sub. You're right.
Yeah. There's just not a lot of good current events right now that we can talk about.
There was that dude that defected to North Korea on accident.
On
purpose. Did you hear about that?
No.
Oh, yeah. Just some army private accidentally stepped over the DMZ and got taken by North Korean cops or soldiers or whatever. It was just Private Timmy was on his first patrol and got taken by the North Korean.
Is he going to become a movie star? The guy that did that during the Korean War got to become a movie star.
That's what they're saying. Oh, no, he straight up defected, apparently. I thought that he just got snatched. He apparently was sprinting across the border.
Okay, this is an article from the Associated Press. I guess we're reading this.
Wellington, New Zealand AP. Sarah Leslie thought she was witnessing a stunt when she saw an American soldier start sprinting towards North Korea. Leslie and her father, tourists from New Zealand, were part of a group that left Tuesday morning from Seoul to visit the DMZ that divides South and North Korea. Private Travis King was among a group of 43 tourists, Leslie told the Associated Press, although he was casually dressed in jeans and a T-shirt, and she had no idea at the time that he was a soldier or in legal trouble. Oh, I didn't know about that factor either. King, 23, was a cavalry scout with the 1st Armored Division who had served nearly 2 months in a Seoul Korean prison for assault. I didn't know that either. Okay. This is starting to make a lot more sense than the headlines I was seeing. He was released on July 10th and was supposed to travel home Monday to Fort Bliss, Texas, where he could have faced additional military discipline and discharge from the service. Leslie said her tour group went a step further than many by visiting the joint security area in the village of Panmunjom, allowing the tourists to effectively step on North Korean soil inside one of the buildings, which are jointly held. To get on such a tour, she said, required submitting their passports and getting permits in advance. The group left Seoul in the bus in the early morning, and Leslie noticed the king was traveling alone and didn't seem to talk to others on the tour. At one point, she said, he bought a DMZ hat from a gift shop. The tour was nearing its end on Tuesday afternoon. The group had just walked out of the building and were milling about taking photos when she saw King running, quote, really fast. Quote, I had assumed initially that he had a mate filming him in some kind of really stupid prank or stunt like a TikTok, the most stupid thing you could do, Leslie said. But then I heard one of the soldiers shout, get that guy. Leslie said the command was shouted by an American soldier, one of a group that patrols the area along with South Korean troops. But the soldiers didn't have time to respond. She said that after running about 10 meters or 30 feet down a narrow passageway between the distinctive blue buildings, King was over the border and then disappeared from sight. It was all over in a few seconds. Leslie said she didn't see any people on the North Korean side. The tour group had been told earlier that the North Koreans there had been lying low since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. After King ran, she said, the soldiers hustled all the tourists into a building and then took them to an information center to give statements. She said many of the tourists, including her father, hadn't seen King run, but a soldier explained the event to them. Quote, people couldn't really believe what had happened, Leslie said. Quite a few were really shocked. Once we got on the bus and got out of there, we were all like kind of just staring at each other. Leslie, a lawyer from New Zealand's capital, Wellington, said she had a long interest in the Koreas after studying politics at university and seeing South Korean movies. She just said she found it hard to understand why King would head to North Korea. Quote, I just didn't think anyone would ever want to do that, she said.
You know, the thing that really confuses me is if they've been lying low, like how long did it take for like this kid to find North Koreans? Was he just walking around the like area in North Korean side? Because I kind of know what this is. This is the place where they have the 3 blue buildings where they can sign documents and whatever. That's like the main area where if you look up Korean
like
DMZ.
Where Trump like walked across.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they... Anyways.
But imagine getting on that side and just being kind of lost and not
like,
running into a guy for like 15, 20 minutes. And then eventually like there's a North Korean soldier on the other end being like just startled.
Just like, wait, why are you here? Huh? I do like the tour bus that the AP has as one of the photos where it's VIP DMZ tours. Collect beautiful moments with VIP travel. Oh
my God!
Why pictures of the border guards and stuff? It's like, yeah.
I mean, I guess that's better than a dishonorable discharge. Is it?
You got honorably charged into the North Korean movie industry,
or a North Korean prison camp. Well, why does it contain 2 photos of the lady they interviewed? I think
I have no idea because they need 2 photos of it. I guess. I don't know.
Anyway,
they're just kind of weird. They're not very good photos.
Could they not go dig into like this like kids like Instagram and find a picture of them?
Well, I saw a picture on The Guardian, but I didn't click on it because I'm a proud American who does not use British sources for anything.
I like how the New York Post's headline, where the AP headline is, a tourist who saw U.S. soldiers sprint into North Korea initially thought it was a stunt. New York Post, what life in North Korea holds for U.S. soldier Travis King after defecting.
CBS News, what is the DMZ? Oh, good God. Yeah. This is going to be another freaking sub thing, isn't it?
Where we just have to deal with this kid in the news cycle for a little bit.
Update on Travis King. What is he doing? It's like, dude, he's probably just getting interrogated, and then he's going to be in a bunch of movies. Like, genuinely, it's like, look, if you're going to either face the like U.S. military prison system or maybe become a movie star in North Korea, it probably wouldn't be that bad of a trade-off, even though you never get to go home and see your family ever again.
Yeah, I mean, they can probably work it in and out. I mean, you won't end up like that Otto Warmbier guy who just ends up dying in prison.
Well, see, he was a civilian.
Yeah.
He wasn't a defector. He just like stole stuff or whatever.
Didn't the other guy who defected during the Korean War or early,
There was a group of them, I think.
the famous one who's in movies, Dostnik or whatever?
Yeah.
One of my favorite anecdotes that I know about that is he met his wife, who was like some sort of Eastern European, in a North Korean bar in which she was the only other white person, and the North Koreans had basically like convinced her to come to North Korea.
Yeah,
and
it was basically like an arranged marriage.
Yeah, it
it's
was
like our movie star is a little sad. Let's get him a wife.
let's orchestrate them meeting in a really strange way, in the only as the only other like white person in a North Korean bar.
I love that places like North Korea exist, where it's just like weird.
Dude, are they going to have to get Dennis Rodman to get this kid out? Because I know he's...
Oh, my God.
Dennis Rodman's like the de facto American ambassador in North Korea.
Maybe. I mean, maybe we're going to get photos of Dennis Rodman hanging out with this guy.
God, why... Oh, my God. Remember when Trump nearly, like, fixed the, like issue with North Korea, and then he just got like bored, got in a Twitter fight with Alec Baldwin.
Trump was the first Dennis Rodman president. he had the capacity. All he had to do is if he started playing basketball with Kim, we would have had peace in the Koreas.
But sadly, Trump did not do that. He also did some other bad things.
Yeah,
man, North Korea's.
Look at the historical GDP estimates for Korea, and it just like is a straight line. Yes.
I think you can tell where the Soviet Union collapsed at that point.
Yeah, right in the 90s.
Yeah, right where it goes from just straight line to falling.
So the GDP per capita is $2,000 per person. Yes. In 2011 money. Anyways, this is now the Cleo Korea cast, where we're just reading the North Korea Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
For some reason. Anyways.
Talking about communists, actually, what about those damn communists in Hollywood? Those writers and now actors going on strike.
Yeah, those bigwig millionaire Hollywood actors are trying to, claw pennies away from those poor, starving studio executives, who might have to take a slight loss in their hundreds of millions of dollars they get paid to delete stuff off of HBO Max. That guy is the most paid Hollywood studio exec in the country, right? I think David Zaslav, the guy who's just deleting everything from the Warner Brothers catalog from HBO Max.
Okay, what is the tax?
$450 million per year, Matt. That's his salary to just delete stuff off of HBO.
And they can't pay writers?
Yeah. No, like Westworld, a show, one of my favorite shows of the last 10 years. Can't watch legally anywhere. They deleted it off HBO.
Well, why would they delete a show that I saw being talked about on Twitter all the time?
Talk about incredible writing. Yeah, if you wrote Westworld, if you're one of those writers not Jonathan Nolan, Christopher Nolan's brother, that first season is I think one of the best written and directed shows I've ever seen. It's incredible. Can't watch it.
Man, that's been on my list to watch.
Yeah.
Well, Yarhar, I guess.
Piracy is ethical. When you're spending hours of your life, years of your life producing a product, and then you can no longer see that product, and you want to show your kids, there is an ethical argument for being able to show years of your lifespan to your children.
Yes.
It's like if we're deleting family photos. If you can get those family photos
or
back,
deleting Family Guy.
Yeah, deleting Family Guy. PETA, they're deleting us from HBO.
But yeah, there's big strikes going on with the writers and then the actors. There is also some discussion of the running backs going on strike.
Yes.
I heard about that on sports radio.
Okay, I want to hear your explanation of what's going on with that, because I know what's going on with that. I want to hear what you picked up from that.
All I heard from the local sports radio driving over here, because I didn't want to connect my phone to Bluetooth in my
810
car.
or 610?
610.
Okay.
Was that the writers have been on strike for 70-something days and are beginning to
the writers or the running backs?
The writers.
Okay.
Because I heard it and they're just talking about the SAG beginning their strike and comparing it to the Writers Guild strike as well. And I'm just wait, why is sports radio talking about writers and actors going on strike? I need to listen. And they were just like, yeah, the writers have been on strike for 70 odd days now and are like looking, or at this point hitting the point where they're going to start losing homes. And
that was what I think Bob Iger of Disney said. Maybe him, maybe somebody else, was that we're going to have to draw it out until these guys start losing their houses and start losing their savings. So, they really suffer, so they'll come back to work. That was like a quote from one of the. Actually, I don't want to say Bob Iger. I don't think we know who it was because they're cowardly. But that's the plan basically.
Well, they were talking about that on sports radio, and basically what they followed up with is the running backs get paid more money than anyone else could get paid, and the NFL Players Association and the running backs in general don't actually, basically to sum it up, don't have the balls to engage in a strike.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as the owners mention lockout, they're going to cave, and then we're going to move on to training camp, and then their arguments are not going to be heard. And until next year, when franchise tags are added to running backs again, and then I don't even know what a franchise tag is. I don't really know NFL.
Now, do you know why specifically running backs are are complaining right now?
Is it because they keep getting cut and don't make millions?
Yeah, because basically what happens is the way it's currently set up is, so running backs used to be like one of the most valuable positions you could get, right? They were big. They were like, I mean, it used to be like a running man's game, right? So they get paid. They were like really important. You'd have a running back for like 10, 15 years, you're like franchise guys. But now what's happening is you have your running back. You play him for 3 years until his rookie deal is up, because he's getting paid the rookie minimum, because everybody gets paid the rookie minimum. You get signed, you get paid, I think it's like 100, depending on when you got drafted. It also varies on how much you get paid. Like if you're first overall, you get paid like $10 million or something. Yeah. But if you're like lower, like, like a
seventh round pick, like Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, he's getting probably like $100,000-$200,000 per year, like somewhat of a league minimum. I think the league minimum is $750,000, but I think the rookies make a little bit less than that. And then you have basically you're exclusive to the team that drafted you for 3 years unless they decide to cut you. And then anyone can sign you. So what they're doing is they're signing these guys, running them. Running backs get hurt a lot more frequently. So they're running them until their rookie deal's up, and then they're cutting them and getting a new guy. Because you can just get that guy, get that limited production because running isn't as important, and then cut them, and they're not going to get signed anywhere because every other team in the league is doing the exact same thing. Look at Clyde Edwards-Helaire with us. Mm-hmm. He hasn't been the best running back. Like, we're not necessarily doing that from a pure greed perspective, the Chiefs, because he hasn't really actually been that good, and Isaiah Pacheco outperformed in his first year. But that is the case of Clyde Edwards-Helaire got picked 25th overall, really high draft pick, was really hyped, playing out his rookie deal. His rookie deal is going to be up. He's going to be cut. He's probably not going to find another job. So he's getting worked harder than anybody else in the NFL playing running back, running hard, taking big hits. Basically your job is to get tackled and run through 400-pound dudes, and then put your body on the line, get a lot of damage, get permanent damage in a lot of cases, but then they're just not getting paid like they used to. And they don't have the ability to bargain. You can't, hold out because you're a rookie. They can't trade you. They can't, no one can. There's no bargaining power basically for them. They're getting paid like peanuts, and then basically it's like, yeah, we're just gonna cut you after like 3 years. That's it. You go through your entire college career.
Does the player union want to do anything about it?
They do, but I think they're not. I don't quote me on this, but I don't think their current contract is up. So I think like the legal way we do strikes and do union negotiations, they're in like the middle of the cycle right now. So they're on like they're playing contract or whatever. So they don't have time to do it. But I think they're just seeing this issue a lot more this offseason with like Ezekiel Elliott with the Cowboys. A really good player for one of the largest franchises in the NFL that makes the most money, and he is not going to get paid. Like they're just like not really interested in extending him a contract, even though he's still playing really good. But I think the Cowboys are looking at exactly what's happening and being like, wait a second, why would we pay this franchise guy? Like think like Marshawn Lynch, like Derrick Henry. Why would we pay these guys $20 million a year when we could play Isaiah Pacheco, the literal minimum amount you can pay him, have him for 3 years, and then just get the next guy? Like why would we pay the superstar athlete who is the best in the league in his position any amount of money when we could just pay some rookie.
Basically eliminating the big name running back from the world of the NFL. Well,
basically forcing rookies to not scab, but effectively be scabs for the position. You know, you're filling a hole. You're not going to be as good, but we don't need you to be as good because the position isn't as valuable. But also, we're going to work the fuck out of you, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're not getting a break. We're still going to run you as many times as we want to, and we're going to put you, a rookie, we're going to put rookies every 3 years into the hardest pitches in the NFL and run them as hard as we possibly can. So you're going to be broken, and you're also going to be broke. Because that's why they want to go on strike.
Man, the writers, the actors, the running backs, all members of the working class. Yeah. But to talk about that contract cycle, there's a contract cycle coming up for the Teamsters.
Yep.
We have if you haven't paid attention to the news, a UPS strike coming up. We have an article from Reuters about the UPS strike. Basically, they have been trying to get a contract with UPS. July 19th, Reuters. United Parcel Service, UPS, on Wednesday said it would turn to the bargaining table with a better offer for roughly 340,000 Teamsters, represented U.S. workers, in a bid to avert a potentially economically damaging strike on August 1st.
Which I will say, that is kind of the point of the strike, is you're, leveraging the damage that would happen to the economy if you were to not work in order to get more benefits.
Weird that the Teamsters can threaten that with UPS, but the people working for the railroads couldn't because of,
they federally couldn't. Biden had to step in. It's like that is the entire purpose of a strike, is that the work that you're doing is valuable to the economy, so you should be able to leverage that. Anyways.
This is open quote. We are prepared to increase our industry-leading pay and benefits. Okay. But need to work quickly to finalize a fair deal that provides the certainty for our customers, our employees, businesses across the country, UPS said in a statement. I really like that they put in the industry leading there. Interesting tagline. The union said the world's largest delivery company contacted it on Wednesday. I'm sorry, I can't read.
It's okay.
With an offer to resume talks next week. The International Brotherhood of Teamsters said in a statement on Twitter, talks broke down on July 5th, each side blaming the other. A key sticking point in the talks is a pay increase for experienced part-time workers who are making roughly the same or even less than new hires because starting wages jumped due to the labor shortage in the last few years. Any disruption... What is that word? Disruption. I'm sorry. It's gray text on a white background, and I'm sitting pretty far away.
I'll zoom it in.
Thank you so much.
You could have said that. It's all right.
Any disruption to the business of UPS would be broadly felt because the company handles about 20 million packages a day, about a quarter of the parcel shipments in the United States. Those include deliveries for online retailers like Amazon.com, with Amazon stock ticker on there as well.
You could probably just not say that.
I don't know why. I don't know why Reuters isn't.
Not really.
Is Reuters like a?
I think this is like the market section of it.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know why you would put their stock ticker, but high-value prescription drugs for doctors and hospitals and inventory for millions of other large and small businesses. A strike could be one of the costliest in at least a century, with the impact of a 10-day strike topping $7 billion, according to one think tank. $7 billion, that's a lot of money.
Sounds like these people who are working... and generating this much value should probably just be getting paid as much as we can.
Yeah.
Because they seem really valuable for everything that happens around the country.
Yeah, and they probably should be able to, have healthcare and stuff.
Maybe AC in the vans, too.
Yeah.
Maybe air conditioning when it's 110 degrees out.
And get, full-time status and be paid enough to live, especially in expensive areas where UPS drivers are pretty crucial in cities and such. UPS pilots who belong to a different union would also stop flying in solidarity with the striking workers. That's sick.
Now, this, they don't mention, I don't think they mention it later in the article, but UPS pilots, United States Postal Service does not have its own pilots. They contract to UPS. So if UPS stops flying, then United States Postal Service doesn't get any of its packages flown across the country.
So when I had to express overnight mail something for the USPS because someone somewhere forgot something in my car and I had to ship it to them on a coast.
Yeah, that was done through UPS as plane services. Those big 747s they got. Yeah, so that's like that right there. It's not really mentioned or really kind of highlighted all in the article. That's a pretty big factor. Is they ship a lot of stuff by air because the entire United States Postal Service uses UPS. Every Amazon package for every warehouse uses UPS air.
Man, so do you think that's included in the $7 billion from that think tank?
I don't know. That probably. I don't have.
Maybe
they didn't include a link to the think tank.
We're gonna include $7 billion and $1 to compensate for the pilots as well. The Teamsters have been holding practice pickets in major cities around the country to keep pressure on UPS. Despite all the noise and hand-wringing, many transportation executives and analysts believe the two sides will eventually reach a deal before the deadline. That's because each side depends on the other. Yeah, that's how negotiations work. UPS called its skilled and loyal Teamster employees a competitive advantage early in the pandemic when orders of everything from homework stations to exercise stations to sofas and large TVs overwhelmed delivery companies. On the other hand, UPS, the largest employer of Teamsters at a time when unions are fighting to grow. Meanwhile, Teamsters leader Sean O'Brien told Reuters last week that he has asked President Joe Biden not to intervene in the talks, even as retail groups and other interested parties push for the administration to weigh in.
Yeah, pro-union Joe's batting 0 for 1 on this one.
Yeah, he's, if he doesn't step in, he gets to make him 1 for 1, right?
Yeah. Let's break another strike.
Yeah.
It's pro-labor president in history.
I'm the most pro-labor president pro-union president in history, right?
Yeah, let's put the rail workers to the wheel.
Let's not give them days off.
Yeah.
Open quote. We believe an August 1st strike at UPS remains possible, but not yet probable. Susquehanna analyst Bascome Majors.
That's a terrific name.
But Bascome, I am so sorry.
Bascome Majors?
I am so sorry for mispronouncing your name. Said in a client note, open quote, official news that Teamsters UPS negotiations restart next week after a 2.5-week break clears a path to get to yes before the deadline. Well,
this is the summer of strikes, apparently. It's hot. Everybody's mad. That's terrific. That picture, UPS Judgment Day, August 1st, 2023, held up at the Teamsters Local 186. Just practicing for a just contract. Judgment Day is coming. That's great.
Anyway, best of luck, Teamsters. I hope you completely destroy the economy because I think that would be funny.
That would be pretty funny.
And I want to see you get like a sick deal and the men and women in brown.
Our boys in brown. Wait.
Get those dollars and get better treatments. But in Kansas City news, a less known talk about transportation organization that moves freight, Yellow. We have an article from CCJ.
Okay, what is CCJ? I can't get. Do they say like what that stands for anywhere? Commercial Carrier Journal.
Commercial Carrier Journal.
Commercial Carrier Journal.
Yeah, Commercial Carrier Journal. Yellow Teamsters members could strike Monday. This is from July 19th.
This is from today.
The Teamsters Union, it's a more than 4-month-long battle with LTL giant Yellow Corporation.
Okay. I am like, what is LT? I'm maybe too out of it on this one. What is LTL?
I think that's a transportation term.
Okay. Whatever. Let's just. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, LTL
is set to come to a head as early as next week as Central State's Board of Trustees voted Monday to suspend health care benefits and cease pension accruals for Yellow workers after Holland and Yellow Freight missed payments to Central State's Health and Welfare Fund and the Central State's Pension Fund for June. All right, so wait, did Yellow Transportation not pay for their employees' health care?
Apparently, they just decided not to.
So they just stopped contributing to their part of their employees' health care.
Yes.
That is awesome. And retirement. So that's basically like if my company said
it's
no.
Based. Yeah, just more companies should just stop paying for things they're legally obligated to pay for. That's based. Yeah.
It's not based.
It's not.
No, it's not.
Like, yeah, we just don't want to pay for your health care anymore. We're just not going to do
Hey, remember when we told you about a 401k accrual and having health care? That's not a thing anymore.
Oh, you remember when you signed a work contract to work for us and we provided Yeah, we decided we don't want to do that. It costs us money, and you just work without health care.
Yeah,
that's fine. Right?
Drive a truck with a CDL with no health care.
Yellow was due to make a payment to Central States July 15th. Suspension of benefits will take effect July 23rd, and Teamsters say they are preparing for a possible strike as early as July 24th. Quote, Yellow has failed its workers once again and continues to neglect its responsibilities, said Teamsters General President Sean M. O'Brien. This corporation's gross mismanagement is another affront to the livelihoods and well-being of 22,000 Teamsters nationwide. Following years of worker givebacks, federal loans, and other bailouts, this deadbeat company has only itself to blame for being in this embarrassing position. It's pretty great, actually. It's pretty great. In June, Yellow requested a 2-month contribution deferral from the health and welfare pension funds to be paid with interest immediately upon a refinancing. So they
wait. Is Yellow just broke?
I think they're just broke.
But like they're like a big employer. Like I drive by their office building a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Matt, in a statement Tuesday, Yellow said it advised Central States funds that it would defer payment of health and pension contributions for June due July 15th and July due August 15th to preserve liquidity as it worked to obtain meetings with the union as well as secure additional financing. I think they're looking for loans. I think they're looking for hey guys, we don't have any money. In which case, I hate to say it, but maybe you could tell your employees that you're running out of money so that you can give them some form of warning that, hey, we're going bankrupt, instead of just, oh, yeah, no more healthcare, sorry. No warning, sorry, guys. Because my company sends out newsletters when we're doing well, like, here's how much money we've made. You could probably do that.
Well, you don't want to scare people into running to other jobs. You want to keep them working
forbid.
as long as possible, and you definitely need to not think about people's livelihoods and maybe consider that if you're going to go bankrupt, you don't want to leave people in a bad position and not give them the opportunity to get ahead of your bad decision as bad money managers in a capitalist society.
I feel like 150 years ago, this is one of those cases where, the workers wake up, they walk out into the company town, and then they walk to the factory and it's locked. And it's like, oh yeah, we're out of business. Also, y'all are evicted. With just no warning. I love that this stuff happens still.
I thought Yellow was just being assholes, but I think they're broke.
2 months of deferrals to Central States would represent approximately $50 million. Only the first 2 of those 2 monthly payments have been deferred to date, the statement reads. The company intends to repay the funds with interest immediately upon securing additional financing and has asked the funds to discuss acceptable terms. Yellow and the Teamsters are at odds over implementation of the carrier's One Yellow strategy to improve efficiency, speed, choice, and value for its customers. Phases 2 and 3 of One Yellow, which include aligning operations in the Northeast, Midwest, Southeast, and Central regions, are set to take place this year. Phase 1, integrating the line haul networks of YRC Freight and Redaway in the Western region to support both regional and long-haul services, was completed last year with union approval. Okay, so Teamsters have blocked further rollout, citing that the changes violate the union's labor agreement with the fleet, a charge Yellow has denied, of course. So they're basically... See, whenever I see a company improving efficiency, speed, and choice, and it's not like a software company, it's like, okay, so you're just going to start working people to the bone. Or we need to be more efficient. You need to work more for less pay.
or firing a bunch of people
Yeah,
who don't have unions.
We're gonna streamline our workflow process. We're gonna really. Yellow, the nation's third largest less than truckload carrier and fifth
That's
largest.
probably what LTL means or
Yeah,
whatever.
that makes sense. LTL. Wait, LTT.
LTT. Oh well,
Less than truckload. I don't even know what that means. I'm so out of the freight.
And fifth largest transportation company. What, you cannot go bankrupt, dude. You're big.
Well, they last month filed a complaint in the U.S. District Court for the District of Kansas against the International Brotherhood of Teamsters and its affiliates, alleging the labor union breached a binding contract with Yellow and caused more than $137 million in damages by, quote, unjustifiably blocking for over 8 months Yellow's restructuring plan to modernize its business, which is necessary to compete against non-union carriers that dominate the LTL business today, end quote. Well, it sounds like, to me, phase 1 was approved, and then they chose not to approve phase 2 and 3, and the company forgot that, approval means that they have to approve it. It's not just like a rubber stamp.
Yeah.
Also, $137 million in damages. Are they trying to get the freaking union to cover their hole?
Maybe. Also, I wonder what phase 2 included, because if phase 2 got denied, I wonder how ghoulish it was.
That's the other one of these where it's like, this article isn't as bad as it, but just so many of these articles just come at it from a pro, like the business is right, of course. UPS, of course, is correct in all of this.
Well, we are reading a business journal for the industry.
Yeah. I mean, you don't necessarily want to read like exactly what the union puts out, because that's also going to be like, yeah, no, we're right. But it's like, you'd hope that at least like.
And most of the time, the union is actually the right one on the side.
Usually, the union, wants to work so they can like pay for things.
Yeah,
it's usually the businesses that like are just trying to save a buck where they don't need to.
Yeah, and want to not pay people what they're worth.
Like, I don't think that the president of UPS is in danger of going home hungry if the UPS workers don't work for a few days. I think that the CEO is going to be okay. Mm-hmm. I think it's the workers that are threatened.
Who have mortgages or can't afford to continue living in the areas they live, or don't get health care.
Yeah, same with Hollywood. The writers are the ones who are at risk of, going home hungry. The studio execs, I think, are going to be okay. Anyways, back to this, though. Yellow handles roughly 55,000 shipments per day, a workload most experts see as being absorbed by existing capacity in the event of a protracted work stoppage. I guess that, like other businesses are able to absorb it, I guess that is a issue if they do go under, is because they do bring up non-union. Like, we have to compete with non-union places, and I think that's also a problem, is if this business does go under, all of a sudden we're going to have a lot more non-union labor handling this. It's kind of like that Anchor Brewery up in the Northeast, where it's like it's the large, one of the oldest breweries in the U.S., and it's union, and it went out of business because Sapporo killed it. And now that beer is being made by a non-union brewery. So basically you just put 22,000 union workers out of work.
And the issue also, as well, as this is in Kansas. Kansas is a right-to-work state. There's no wage order in Kansas, so
yeah.
But right-to-work is a ripoff.
Well, quote, while I expect we could hire up fairly quickly, says John Luciani, COO of LTL Solutions at A. Du Pile number 67. That's a really long title. A, quote, sudden and prolonged shipment count increase at 10% could cause some short-term pain. The Teamsters are fighting a similar war on two fronts, one with Yellow and another with UPS. The UPS Teamsters contract covers more than 340,000 full and part-time workers and expires July 31st. The Teamsters have made clear that its UPS members will not work beyond the expiration of the current contract and have already authorized a strike. A UPS strike would have minimal impact, Luciani theorized, to dedicated or brokerage businesses. However...
that is not what we read on the previous article, but...
I think he's talking specifically to this industry versus
the long haul truckers.
Yeah.
Oh.
However, should the union elect to strike at both companies within a week of each other, Luciani posed the sudden influx of freight could be problematic. Basically, if UPS does it, it's not going to affect us. But if both do it, then it's going to be a problem, which is why they should both do it, because they're both the same union, the same Teamsters union, right? My concerns are more about the timing of a Yellow failure and a UPS strike happening at the same time. We're already receiving requests from existing customers to also use UPS, wanting to know how small of a shipment we will handle and how many shipments we would consider handling, he said. Quote, because any UPS traffic would be only temporary, my answer to the vast number of customers is we will handle 0 UPS-sized shipments. All the traffic can do is hurt our LTL business and customers, and we will not put our service quality and reputation at risk.
I really like how he's using the "we will not handle 0 UPS side shipments."
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of working a retail job that never closed, and on holidays answering the phone being like, "Hi, this is redacted place of employer. We never close."
Yeah, we don't close. But no, I do like, the company's just being like, hey, UPS is going to go on strike. Can we use you guys? It's like, no, we don't do that.
Yeah. But also, I mean, it seems like this guy also mentioned that Yellow seems like it's not doing hot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's the summer of strikes.
It is the summer of strikes. And wait, is YRC publicly traded?
It's a good question. That's a good question. I can figure that out.
We should...
Yellow Corporation.
Yeah, just Google Yellow Corporation stock if they have stock.
I know I horrifically. Yeah, they're wait a second.
They're trading at $1.
At $1?
Is it time to short Yellow
Ooh.
Corp?
Ooh, maybe.
Do not take financial advice from us. We're not financial advisors. Do not.
Don't take financial advice from podcasts. I will say $54 million is their market cap. If all the listeners of this podcast got together and gave us $5, we could buy like 20 shares in Yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, so wait. Their market cap is $54 million, and they failed to pay $50 million in benefits to their employees.
So they don't have money anymore.
They do not have money anymore. God, Overland Park, Kansas.
All right, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's terrific. Sounds like you're dying over there.
Yeah, just have been trying to beat the cold that I've had for like a little over a week at this point, and it's been rough.
They need to probably need to feel better on speaking on a vocal based podcast.
Anyway, that is bad. Do or do not take financial advice from us.
No, just do not.
Do not take financial advice from us.
Do not buy or short Yellow
stock. We're not financial advisors. We are idiots with a podcast.
Yes.
Anyway,
just commenting on what we see and what we read. Anyways, Kansas City could be a hotbed. We have a lot of UPS and Yellow's headquartered here, and we don't have any production companies, but I don't know, a lot of rail here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There is the Ford and GM plant.
We do have the Ford and GM. Are those guys?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No.
Yeah, so we do. Have
when you mentioned production, you were talking about film production.
No,
I was thinking about like
film production.
I was thinking about
not
industrial production.
No, it's just that's the one area we don't have anything. I guess we do not employ writers. By the way, we are not crossing the picket line by producing this podcast.
No. But we're also not union members either.
Yes.
We have written like about 30 pages of actual content in our lives for a mediocre podcast. Yeah. Anyway, I think we're basically out of time, right?
Yeah, we're 43, 38, 39, 40.
All right.
About 44 minutes.
All right. Is that a wrap then?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, this has been Clio Talk. I've been Matt.
And I have been RC.
And you can go ahead and follow us on Twitter at Clio History. You can email us at ClioHistoryPodcast@gmail.com. You can find us wherever you get podcasts. Please give us a like and a share if you want to. And yeah, that's it. Bye.